Welcome, beautiful damsels. She's not afraid to be misunderstood, because she knows the power of her own truth. Sigma Dynasty. The Sigma female, a personality type defined by independence, introspection, and defiance of societal norms, is a mystery to most, especially her own family. In a world where conformity often equates to harmony, her quiet strength and fierce individuality can feel like a silent rebellion to relatives who value tradition over transformation. Did you know that nearly 70% of family misunderstandings stem from differences in communication styles and expectations? For a Sigma female who thrives in solitude and shuns superficiality, this statistic feels personal. She doesn't attend every family gathering, doesn't overshare her emotions, and definitely won't join the group chat to debate the best lasagna recipe. And for some families, that's simply unforgivable. But here's the twist. The Sigma female isn't misunderstood because she chooses to distance herself from family norms. She's misunderstood because she redefines them. And as you'll discover, her story is less about rebellion and more about evolution, challenging us to rethink the very idea of what it means to belong. Buckle up. It's about to get real, raw, and refreshingly unconventional. Number 1. Nonlinear paths are perceived as failure. Families often expect a straightforward path in life. Graduate school, get a stable job, settle down, get married, have kids. This timeline is comforting, predictable, and to many, a sign of doing life right. But Sigma females don't follow this script. Their journeys are rarely linear, and this unpredictability can be unsettling for families who view deviation as failure or a lack of direction. A Sigma female might choose to backpack across the world instead of starting a traditional 9-to-5. She might invest years mastering a skill that seems unconventional or delay marriage, not because she can't find someone, but because she values self-growth over ticking societal boxes. She sees success as personal fulfillment, not as a checklist approved by family or society. To her family, these choices can look reckless or lazy. They may wonder why she doesn't settle down like her siblings, or why she takes risks that don't guarantee immediate rewards. Her nonlinear path makes them uncomfortable because it challenges their belief that stability equals success. But to the Sigma female, the idea of following a rigid life script is suffocating. She thrives on exploration, adaptability, and carving her own way. It's not that she lacks ambition, it's that her ambition isn't tied to conventional markers like promotions, marriage certificates, or home ownership. This misunderstanding often leads to tension. Family members might label her as stubborn or aimless, unable to see that her journey is driven by purpose, not rebellion. What they see as a winding road is, for her, a deeply intentional and fulfilling path. And while her life might not fit the mold, it's a mold she never wanted in the first place. Number 2. Unfiltered honesty creates tension. Sigma females are known for their unapologetic honesty, and while this trait makes them fiercely authentic, it often creates friction within family dynamics. In a setting where diplomacy and sugarcoating are often the norm, their directness can feel jarring, even confrontational. Families, after all, are usually arenas where unspoken rules about keeping the peace often trump complete honesty. When a Sigma female speaks, she doesn't tailor her words to protect egos or avoid conflict. She'll call out hypocrisy, challenge outdated traditions, or point out flaws in logic without hesitation. For her, this isn't about being rude, it's about valuing truth over pretense. However, family members may interpret this as harshness or a lack of sensitivity, particularly if they're not used to addressing uncomfortable truths head-on. This tension often escalates when the Sigma female refuses to back down or smooth things over after a disagreement. While others might say what's expected to keep the family together, she won't compromise her authenticity for the sake of artificial harmony. Her honesty can feel like a threat to the fragile balance many families cling to, leading to discomfort, resentment, or even alienation. To her, honesty is respect. It's how she shows she values the relationship enough to be real. To her family, it can sometimes feel like criticism, even when it's constructive. The disconnect lies in how they perceive her words. She intends them as clarity, but they may receive them as judgment. Over time, this dynamic can make the Sigma female feel like the family scapegoat, the one who's too blunt or too difficult. But for her, honesty isn't a weapon, it's a form of integrity. And while it may ruffle feathers, she would rather face the fallout than live a life of suppressed truths. Number 3. They redefine family loyalty. For Sigma females, loyalty isn't about unquestioning allegiance or sticking with someone just because they share the same last name. To them, loyalty must be earned, maintained, and grounded in mutual respect and authenticity. This perspective often puts them at odds with family members who believe loyalty is automatic and hierarchical, given by virtue of blood ties or seniority. In traditional family structures, loyalty is often seen as absolute, even when it's one-sided or unreciprocated. For instance, it might mean respecting an elder's authority without questioning their decisions or supporting a family member despite toxic behavior. Sigma females challenge this by holding everyone, including family, accountable to the same standards of respect and decency they expect in any relationship. To her, blind loyalty without fairness or mutual effort isn't loyalty at all. It's enabling. This can confuse or even offend family members. They may see her as disloyal for setting boundaries, saying no, or refusing to play along with outdated family traditions. For the Sigma female, however, these actions are rooted in her values. She believes loyalty should foster healthy relationships, not perpetuate cycles of dysfunction or obligation. This redefinition of loyalty is particularly challenging for families where hierarchy is central. Parents might expect unwavering obedience, or siblings may assume unconditional support. But a Sigma female prioritizes truth over tradition. She won't fake closeness for appearances or ignore her own needs to keep the peace. While her approach may feel uncomfortable or even rebellious to others, it's deeply intentional. For the Sigma female, true loyalty doesn't mean enduring unhealthy dynamics. It means showing up authentically, valuing relationships that are genuine, and walking away from those that aren't. It's a loyalty that's hard-earned, not assumed, and that makes it all the more meaningful. Number 4. Their success feels threatening. When a Sigma female achieves remarkable success, whether in her career, education, or personal growth, it's not always met with celebration within the family. Instead, her accomplishments can unintentionally cast a shadow over others, stirring feelings of jealousy or inadequacy. This is especially true in families where comparisons, intentional or not, are commonplace, and where success is often viewed as a zero-sum game. The Sigma female doesn't achieve for applause or validation, she does it for herself. Her drive comes from an intrinsic desire to grow and explore her potential, not from a need to compete. Yet her success can make others feel insecure, particularly if it disrupts the family's existing dynamics. A sibling who has followed a more traditional or slower path might feel overshadowed. Parents may even interpret her independence and self-sufficiency as a rejection of their support or guidance. The tension is heightened by the Sigma female's natural humility. She doesn't flaunt her achievements, nor does she seek approval for them. But her quiet success can feel like a silent reminder of what others haven't achieved. Family members might start projecting their insecurities onto her, labeling her as arrogant or too ambitious, even if she's done nothing to provoke those feelings. This can lead to subtle forms of sabotage, downplaying her accomplishments, avoiding conversations about her milestones, or even outright criticism disguised as advice. In extreme cases, the Sigma female might find herself excluded from family discussions or gatherings as though her presence is too overwhelming. For her, these reactions are frustrating and disheartening. Success in her eyes is personal, not a weapon to harm others. Yet she understands that her growth forces those around her to confront their own choices, which can be uncomfortable. Even so, she won't dim her light to make others feel brighter. Number 5. They avoid family drama. Sigma females have little patience for family drama. They don't thrive on gossip, petty arguments, or emotional chaos. And they're not interested in playing peacemaker when tensions arise. Instead, they choose to disengage, prioritizing peace of mind over getting dragged into unnecessary conflicts. While this approach may seem wise and mature, it's often misunderstood by family members as indifference or a lack of support. In families where drama is a way of life, whether it's rehashing old grievances, escalating minor issues, or forming alliances over disagreements, A Sigma female's refusal to participate can feel like rejection. To her relatives, it might seem as though she doesn't care enough to pick a side or defend her loved ones. But for the Sigma female, stepping back isn't about apathy. It's about maintaining her emotional boundaries and not feeding into destructive patterns. Her avoidance of gossip adds another layer of complexity. Sigma females see gossip as toxic and counterproductive. While family members might bond over dissecting each other's choices, the Sigma female often opts out, leaving others to interpret her silence as judgment or aloofness. In truth, she simply values direct communication and authenticity over behind-the-back chatter. This unwillingness to engage can make her a scapegoat in family dynamics. When she doesn't take sides, some might accuse her of being passive or not caring enough about the family's problems. Others might resent her for maintaining her calm while they're caught up in the whirlwind of drama. Ultimately, the Sigma female's refusal to indulge in conflict stems from her deep commitment to emotional self-preservation. While it may alienate her from family members who thrive on intensity, it's a choice she makes to protect her peace, and she's unapologetic about it. Number 6. They set firm boundaries. Sigma females are masters of setting boundaries, and their ability to say no without hesitation or guilt is a defining trait. For them, boundaries are not walls, but essential lines that preserve their energy, independence, and mental health. However, in family dynamics where unrestricted access is often the norm, this strength can be misinterpreted as selfishness or a lack of cooperation. In many families, saying yes is expected, whether it's attending every event, dropping everything to help, or going along with decisions to maintain harmony. The Sigma female disrupts this by refusing to stretch herself thin for the sake of tradition or obligation. She evaluates requests based on her own capacity and values rather than familial expectations, which can unsettle relatives who are used to unwavering compliance. Her firm boundaries might look like declining a last-minute favor, opting out of family gossip sessions, or skipping events that don't align with her priorities. To her, these are acts of self-care and authenticity, but to others, they can seem like acts of rebellion or indifference. Family members may label her as uncooperative, difficult, or even arrogant for not bending to their will. What they often fail to see is that her boundaries aren't meant to exclude or alienate. It's about protecting her own space and ensuring her relationships remain healthy. She understands that constantly overextending herself leads to resentment and burnout, something she refuses to let define her interactions. While her boundaries may initially cause friction, they ultimately teach those around her an important lesson. Love and respect don't require self-sacrifice. And though her family may struggle to adjust, her unwavering stance on personal limits is a quiet but powerful act of respect for herself and eventually for them too. Number 7. Their relationships may seem non-traditional. Sigma females often defy conventional norms when it comes to relationships, prioritizing depth, purpose, and authenticity over societal or familial expectations. To their families, however, these choices can seem confusing, even unsettling, especially if they don't align with traditional ideas of what relationships should look like. While many families expect a predictable trajectory, marriage, children, and a tight-knit circle of family-centric relationships, a Sigma female might choose an entirely different path. She may prioritize friendships over romantic partnerships, finding soul-deep connections with a few trusted individuals rather than chasing societal milestones. Her family might include mentors, colleagues, or friends who challenge and inspire her, leaving relatives wondering why she doesn't invest more energy into her biological family. Her romantic life, if it exists, is equally unconventional. A Sigma female may remain single by choice, viewing solitude as a strength rather than a void to be filled. If she does pursue relationships, she values equality and personal freedom above traditional roles, often rejecting the idea that her worth should be tied to being a partner, wife, or mother. This approach can baffle family members who equate stability with traditional commitments. To her relatives, these choices might appear as a lack of commitment or even a rejection of family values. They might struggle to understand why she doesn't prioritize settling down or why she invests so much time in relationships that don't follow traditional templates. But for the Sigma female, relationships are about quality, not conformity. She refuses to compromise her independence or authenticity for the sake of appearances. While her path may not align with her family's expectations, it's a path deeply rooted in her truth, a life built on meaningful connections rather than societal checkboxes. Number 8, they reject obligation-driven relationships. Sigma females approach relationships with intention and depth, valuing genuine connection over obligation. They believe that relationships should be nurtured through mutual effort and respect, not upheld out of a sense of duty or tradition. This mindset often clashes with family expectations, where the idea of sticking together no matter what is sometimes prioritized over authenticity. For the Sigma female, a relationship maintained solely because we're family doesn't hold much weight. She doesn't believe blood ties automatically guarantee a meaningful bond. Instead, she focuses on fostering relationships that are reciprocal, supportive, and rooted in mutual respect. If a connection becomes one-sided, toxic, or purely transactional, she won't hesitate to create distance, even if it means breaking unwritten family rules. This approach is often misinterpreted. Family members may label her as cold, selfish, or neglectful for not automatically engaging in obligation-driven relationships. For instance, skipping a family reunion she feels emotionally drained by or refusing to tolerate manipulative behavior might spark accusations that she doesn't care. But for the Sigma female, walking away isn't about apathy. It's about protecting her peace and ensuring her interactions remain meaningful. Her stance can be particularly challenging for families steeped in traditions that emphasize unquestioning loyalty. Relatives may expect her to prioritize family above all else, even at the cost of her own well-being. When she doesn't conform, it can lead to tension, misunderstandings, and the assumption that she's rejecting the family itself. What they fail to see is that her boundaries are rooted in a desire for authenticity. She values quality over obligation, believing that real love and respect come from choice, not duty. While her approach may seem unconventional, it's her way of ensuring that every relationship she invests in is one that truly matters. Number 9, they outgrow the family's vision of them. As Sigma females grow and evolve, they often outpace the vision their family has of them, leading to a profound disconnect. Families, by nature, tend to hold on to a fixed image of each member, one that is shaped by childhood memories, old habits, and past dynamics. When a Sigma female steps into her power, shedding old roles or developing new independent traits, her family may struggle to reconcile this evolved version of her with the person they thought they knew. For example, a Sigma female who once adhered to the expectations of her family, maybe as the quiet, agreeable child, might later emerge as a confident, self-sufficient adult who sets firm boundaries and doesn't tolerate manipulation or emotional games. This change can be disorienting for family members who are accustomed to seeing her in a specific light. They may feel threatened by her newfound independence, or resentful that she no longer fits the mold they've crafted for her. This evolution often feels like a quiet rebellion. The Sigma female might challenge old family norms, speak up for herself in ways she never did before, or pursue unconventional goals that don't align with the family's expectations. Her transformation is an act of self-liberation, but to her family, it can feel like a departure, even a betrayal. What's most difficult for her family to grasp is that this evolution isn't personal. It's simply the Sigma female becoming her truest, most authentic self. She's not rejecting her family. She's outgrowing the version of herself they've held onto. But this process is often painful for both sides. Family members may mourn the loss of the old dynamic, where they could control or define her, while the Sigma female may feel stifled by their inability to accept who she has become. In the end, the Sigma female's growth often forces her family to confront their own stagnant perceptions of her. It's a difficult journey of mutual adjustment, one that requires a deep redefinition of what family truly means and how relationships can evolve alongside personal transformation. Number 10. They inspire and intimidate simultaneously. Sigma females have a unique ability to inspire and intimidate in equal measure. Their fierce independence, self-sufficiency, and unwavering confidence create an aura that commands respect, but it can also provoke feelings of inadequacy in those around them, especially family members who feel they fall short of her standards or progress. On one hand, the Sigma female's autonomy is an admirable trait. She doesn't wait for validation, doesn't rely on others to define her worth, and pursues her goals with relentless drive. This can be inspiring to those who recognize the strength it takes to carve out one's own path in life. Family members might even look to her as a role model, amazed by her ability to achieve success on her terms. But on the other hand, her self-sufficiency can also trigger discomfort or even resentment. Family members who are used to playing a supporting or nurturing role may feel threatened by her ability to stand on her own. She doesn't rely on others for emotional support, financial assistance, or approval, which can make some relatives feel unnecessary or insignificant in her life. The Sigma female's way of moving through the world can create a quiet but powerful divide. While some may feel inspired by her strength, others might interpret it as a reflection of their own shortcomings. For those who have been accustomed to relying on family for validation or emotional support, the Sigma female's independence can serve as a reminder of their own dependence or perceived weakness. This dynamic can breed a subtle sense of competition. Some family members may feel they need to catch up or prove themselves in order to match the Sigma female's capabilities. The more she accomplishes on her own, the more pressure they may feel to do the same, even if that pressure is unspoken. For the Sigma female, it's not about intimidating others. It's about staying true to herself. But for family members, witnessing her constant growth can bring out both admiration and unease, creating a tension that's difficult to navigate. In the end, the Sigma female is a force of nature, unapologetically herself, carving her path in a world that often seeks conformity. Her strength lies in her refusal to bend to expectations, her relentless pursuit of independence, and her commitment to authenticity. But while these traits are empowering for her, they often create a complex web of misunderstanding within her family. They may feel threatened by her self-sufficiency, alienated by her non-traditional choices, or confused by her ability to set boundaries without guilt. Yet what they often fail to realize is that the Sigma female's journey isn't a rejection of them. It's an invitation for growth, for herself and for those who are willing to accept the challenge. The Sigma female teaches the world that family doesn't have to be defined by blood ties or rigid roles, but by mutual respect, understanding, and the freedom to evolve. As she continues to redefine what it means to belong, she encourages her family and society at large to embrace change, to reject outdated expectations, and to redefine loyalty not as obligation, but as choice. Though her journey may stir discomfort and tension, it also holds the potential for deep, transformative connection. And in that process, she might just show her family the power of being unapologetically, fiercely, and beautifully themselves. If you found yourself nodding along or thinking deeply about the Sigma female's world, then you're not alone. And you definitely don't want to miss out on the next chapter of this journey. If you're ready to dive deeper into these extraordinary topics and uncover more insights that challenge, inspire, and make you see things differently, then hit that subscribe button and join the community. Trust me, you'll want to be here for what's coming next. It's not just about understanding the Sigma female, it's about understanding how we all can embrace authenticity, break free from limiting expectations, and redefine what it means to truly belong. So subscribe now, because the real conversation starts here. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.